Hello beauties. Welcome to my channel. If you're just joining us, you need to go back and watch episodes 1 through 3 because this finale will only make sense if you know the journey. Aminah and Minjay fell in love. His mother destroyed her life. He broke her heart, and she left Korea in shame. Now, 1 year later, he's about to do something that will change both their lives forever. This is the finale you've been waiting for. Hit that subscribe button because this ending is everything. The world had long forgiven Min-jae, but he hadn't forgiven himself. Now back on top of his career, with sponsorships pouring in and his face on every screen across Asia, Minjay was Korea's darling again. Fans screamed his name at airports. Brands fought for his signature. Magazine covers, variety shows, drama after drama, all the success he'd worked for had returned. His face was everywhere. Billboards towering over Seoul's busy streets. Commercials during prime time. Award shows where he smiled and bowed and thanked everyone. Fans adore him more than ever. But no one knew that behind his dazzling smile and his growing fame lived a silence, a hollowness that not even the loudest applause could fill. Every achievement felt like dust without her. No matter how far his success reached, the emptiness inside him only deepened. Minjay was miserable. No award, no amount of money, no photo shoot or red carpet could fill the space Amina once occupied in his heart. He tried calling her once, twice, 100 times in his mind. But then he remembered he had deleted her number in a fit of rage during the worst days of the scandal, when his agency had pressured him, when he'd been weak and terrified and stupid. Now he had nothing. No way to reach her. No way to tell her he was sorry. No way to say he'd been wrong about everything. There was only one person who could help now. Mia. Aminah's old dorm mate from the cultural exchange program. The one who'd stood by her when everyone else turned their backs. Minjay reached out through social media, sent message after message until finally, Mia agreed to meet him at a quiet cafe far from the city center where no one would recognize him. When she walked in and saw him sitting in the corner booth, hood up, mask on, she gasped. "You look like you haven't slept in weeks," Mia said, sliding into the seat across from him. "I haven't," he admitted quietly, pulling down his mask. His eyes were red-rimmed, dark circles underneath. "Please, I need her number. I just need to hear her voice. I need to know she's okay." Mia studied him for a long moment, her expression hard. "You hurt her. You destroyed her. Do you know she cried every single night for months? Do you know she tried to end her life twice before she finally started healing?" His face crumbled. I know, and I hate myself for it. But I need to make it right. Please." After what felt like an eternity, Mia sighed and pulled out her phone. "I'll give you her number. But if you hurt her again, I swear I will make sure the entire world knows what kind of man you really are." "I won't," he promised. "I'll spend the rest of my life proving it." Back in Bamako, Mali, Amina had managed to piece herself back together. After leaving Mali, she'd moved to Bamako to stay with her cousin and work at an upscale restaurant called Eco Sunrise Bistro. Life was moving forward. She was coping, surviving, even thriving in small ways. She laughed with coworkers, saved money, made plans for the future. She was happy, or at least she'd convinced herself she was. But sometimes, late at night when the city quieted down, she'd think of him. The good days before everything fell apart. The way he looked at her like she was his entire world. The ugly end. The betrayal. She'd remember, but she wouldn't cry. She had cried enough tears to fill an ocean back in Korea. The first time Minjay called her, Amina stared at the unknown number on her screen and let it ring out. When he called again immediately, she answered with her heart pounding. "Hello." His voice came through, shaky and desperate. "Amina, please don't hang up. Please." She hung up. She was furious that he even had the nerve, that he dared to think he could just call her like nothing had happened. But he kept calling. And texting. Long messages that she read but never responded to. "I'm sorry. I was wrong. I was a coward. Please let me explain. I never stopped loving you. I need to see you. Please." Minjay told his manager he couldn't live like this anymore. I need to find her. I feel empty. I can't go on like this. His manager tried to discourage him, fearing another media scandal, another career implosion. You've just gotten everything back. Don't throw it away again. But Minjay refused to be swayed. He had made up his mind. He scheduled a press conference, telling his agency it was about his new project. But when the day came and the entire country tuned in, cameras flashing, reporters ready with questions about his upcoming drama, Minjay cleared his throat and said something no one expected. I'm not here to talk about my new project, he said, his voice steady and clear. I'm here to talk about her. About Amina. My beautiful, brilliant, strong Amina from Mali. The room went silent.
Shocked.
There's a woman I met at a cultural center, he continued, emotion creeping into his voice. A black woman from West Africa. A beautiful, smart, funny, stubborn woman who changed my life. I called her my library girl because she worked with books and she was quiet and careful with words, but when she spoke, everything she said mattered. Reporters gasped. Cameras flashed frantically. She didn't ruin me, he said firmly. She loved me. I ruined her.
And I'm sorry.
She is not the person the media painted her to be. She's not a gold digger or a homewrecker or any of the terrible things that were said. She was a woman who came to Korea with dreams, who worked hard, who was kind to everyone, and who made the mistake of falling in love with me. His voice cracked. I destroyed her reputation. I let my fear control me. I said things I didn't mean. I hurt the only person who ever saw me as just a man, not a celebrity. Since she left, I've felt nothing but loss. And I don't care what Korea thinks anymore because I love her, and I will find her, and I will spend the rest of my life making it up to her. He looked directly into the camera. Amina Traore, my library girl, if you're watching this, I'm sorry. I love you. I miss you. And I don't care how long it takes, but I will find you, and I will make this right. I love you. Social media exploded. Clips of the press conference flooded Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, international news outlets. The story went viral globally. Mali buzzed with speculation. Mali celebrated. Some thought it was staged for publicity, but those who looked into his eyes knew it was real. His mother called him immediately furious. Have you lost your mind? I told you to stay away from that girl. If you can't accept her, Minjay said coldly, then you've lost me as a son. He hung up. He met Nia again and begged her to help him find Amina. I need to know where she is. Please. Nia hesitated, but after seeing the press conference, after seeing how broken he looked, she relented. She's in Bamako, working at Eco Sunrise Bistro. But Minjay, if you hurt her again, I won't. I promise. Without wasting time, Minjay booked a flight to Bamako, Mali. He didn't tell his agency. Didn't tell anyone except Nia. When he arrived, the heat and chaos of Bamako hit him immediately, so different from Seoul, but he didn't care. He checked into a hotel and headed to the Eco Sunrise Bistro that same evening. He walked in wearing a simple black shirt and jeans, no disguise, no mask. He sat at a corner table and when a server approached, he said quietly, I'd like to be served by Amina, please. The server looked confused, but went to get her. Amina came out from the back, notepad in hand, professional smile on her face. Good evening, how can I? She stopped. Everything stopped. Time, breath, heartbeat. He stood up slowly, his eyes never leaving hers. Hey, library girl, he said softly. Her hands trembled. The notepad fell. Her chest tightened, tears welled in her eyes. She turned and ran. Straight out of the restaurant, into the humid Bamako evening, gasping for air. He chased after her, finding her sitting on the curb outside, crying uncontrollably, her whole body shaking. He knelt in front of her on the street, not caring who saw, not caring about anything except her. Please, he said, his own voice breaking. Please, just listen to me. Let me explain. Let me apologize. Don't. She screamed through tears, shoving his chest. Don't you dare. You told me I ruined you. You said I was the biggest mistake of your life. You said you regretted dating me. You said your mother was right about me. Every word was a knife she'd been carrying for a year. You crushed me, Minjay. You let them destroy me, and then you destroyed me yourself. How dare you come here now? He fell to his knees completely, his voice cracking, tears streaming down his face. I didn't mean any of it. I was scared. I was angry. I was weak and stupid, and I failed you. But I never stopped loving you. Not for 1 second. Every day since you left has been hell. Every smile has been fake. Every achievement has been empty. I destroyed the best thing that ever happened to me, and I will never forgive myself. But please let me try to make it right. He tried to reach for her hand, but she pulled away and stood up, wiping her tears. Stay away from me, she whispered, then walked back into the restaurant, leaving him kneeling in the dust outside. She told her manager she couldn't serve that table, but the manager, confused, said, "He specifically asked for you. He's been waiting." With no choice, she returned to his table, her face cold and distant, walls up so high he couldn't see the girl he'd loved. "Either you order something or I'm walking away," she said flatly. He was stunned at how much she'd changed. The softness was gone. The shy smiles were gone. He'd done this to her. "White wine," he said quietly. "Please." She brought it without a word and walked away. He sat there for hours, nursing that one glass, watching her work, hoping for just one moment where she'd look at him the way she used to. But when her shift ended, she walked past him like he didn't exist and disappeared into the Bamako night. That night, Minjay couldn't sleep. He lay in his hotel room staring at the ceiling, replaying that look in her eyes. She'd looked at him like he was a stranger. Worse, like he was someone who'd hurt her. He knew it was his fault. He knew he deserved it. But he wasn't giving up. The next morning, he returned to Eco's Sunrise Bistro. She saw him walk in and her jaw tightened. She tried to ignore him, walking past like he didn't exist. But when he gently caught her wrist, she spun around, and suddenly all the tears she'd been holding back broke free. She cried right there in the middle of the restaurant, in front of customers and coworkers, a year of pain pouring out. Min-jae pulled the manager aside and slipped a thick envelope of cash into his hands. "Please," he said quietly, "give her the day off. Let me talk to her. I'll bring her back in 3 days. I promise." The manager, seeing the desperation in his eyes and the thickness of the envelope, agreed. Minjay helped Amina to his rented car. She cried silently the whole drive, overwhelmed by memories, by hurt, by the fact that he was here, real, in front of her. He took her back to his hotel, not to seduce, just to talk, just to beg for forgiveness. She sat on the couch, arms folded defensively. "You humiliated me," she said, her voice shaking. "You destroyed me. I lost everything. My program, my visa, my future, my dignity. You broke me into a million pieces, Minjay, and I hate you for it." "I know," he said, getting on his knees in front of her. "I know, and I hate myself more than you could ever hate me. But I want to give it all back. 10 times more. 100 times more. Let me prove it. Please." He apologized for everything. For his weakness. For his words. For not protecting her. For letting his mother destroy her. For being a coward. He promised he'd changed. That he'd stood up to his mother. That he'd told the entire world the truth. That he didn't care about his career if it meant losing her again. She listened, tears streaming, walls slowly cracking. And finally, slowly, she leaned forward and hugged him. He broke down completely, holding her like she might disappear. "I forgive you," she whispered. "But I'm scared. I'm scared you'll hurt me again." "I won't," he promised into her hair. "I'll spend every day proving it. Will you give me another chance? Will you be mine again?" She pulled back, looking into his eyes, searching for the truth. And she found it. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes." They held each other and cried, healing and breaking and rebuilding all at once. Later, after she'd calmed down, he smiled gently. "You should shower. You'll feel better." She scoffed, a hint of the old Amina peeking through. I'm not showering in a man's hotel room. He raised an eyebrow, teasing. You've done more than shower with me, remember? I've seen every inch of your beautiful body, and I haven't forgotten a single detail. She laughed. Actually laughed. A real, free, joyful sound that made his heart soar. She hugged him tight, and he led her to the bathroom. When she came out, fresh and clean in his shirt, he kissed her lips, her forehead, her cheeks, her neck. I missed you so much, he whispered against her skin. I never stopped thinking about you. They made love that afternoon, slow and emotional and tender, the kind that heals wounds and rebuilds trust. Afterward, they lay tangled together, whispering promises and apologies and hopes for the future. But Minjay knew this wasn't enough. He needed to do this right.
Completely right.
I need to meet your parents, he said as they lay in bed. I need to ask their forgiveness. I need their blessing. Amina tensed. They won't accept you. Not after what happened. Not yet. Then I'll make them accept me, he said firmly. I'll prove I'm worthy of you. Take me to Mali. Please. After much convincing, she agreed. 2 weeks later, they flew to Bamako, Mali together. Amina was terrified. Her parents had been so disappointed, so hurt by what happened. Bringing Minjay home felt like reopening old wounds. When they arrived at her family's modest compound home, her parents were shocked to see a Korean man standing beside their daughter. Her father's face hardened. Her mother looked between them, confused and wary. What is this, Amina? Her father asked in French. She translated for Minjay, who stood respectfully, hands clasped. Baba, Mama, this is Minjay, the man from Korea. He's here to apologize, to ask for your forgiveness, and to ask for something else. Her father's voice rose. You bring him here? After what he did? After how he humiliated you and our family? Minjay stepped forward, and through Amina's translation, he spoke from his heart. Sir, madam, I know I don't deserve to be here. I know I hurt your daughter in ways that are unforgivable. I was weak. I was a coward. I let my fear and my family's pressure destroy the woman I love. I failed her and I failed you. But I'm here now, not to make excuses, but to promise you that I will spend the rest of my life making it right. He got on his knees in front of her parents, right there on the dirt floor of their home. I love your daughter with everything I am. She is the strongest, kindest, most extraordinary woman I've ever known. And I'm asking, humbly, for your forgiveness and for your blessing. Amina's mother started crying. Her father stood silent, jaw tight, wrestling with anger and something else. You destroyed her future, her father finally said. She had opportunities, dreams. You took all of that. I did, Minjay agreed. And I want to give it back. I want to send her to university in America, the best programs. I'll fund everything. But more than that, I want to marry her. I want to spend my life protecting her, honoring her, and making sure she never doubts her worth again. Silence filled the room. Then Amina's mother spoke softly. Do you truly love our daughter? Not for her body, not for excitement, but truly, with my whole soul, Minjay said. She is my home. Her father looked at Aminah. Is this what you want? She nodded, tears streaming. Yes, Baba. I love him. After a long moment, her father sighed deeply. If you hurt her again, no amount of fame or money will protect you from me. Do you understand? Yes, sir. I understand. Her father extended his hand. Minjay took it, and for the first time in over a year, Aminah felt hope. Before they left Mali, Minjay took Aminah to a beautiful spot by the Niger River at sunset. The sky was painted in oranges and purples, the water reflecting the colors like a mirror. He got down on one knee, pulling out a ring he'd been carrying since Korea. Amina Traore, he said, his voice shaking with emotion. We've survived scandal, racism, distance, and pain. You've carried this love with grace and strength that humbles me every day. You are my library girl, my coffee girl, my everything. Will you marry me? She couldn't speak through the tears, so she just nodded frantically.
Yes.
Yes, Minjay. Yes. He slipped the ring on her finger and stood, pulling her into his arms, both of them crying and laughing under the West African sky. 2 months later, they got married in a beautiful ceremony that blended Korean and Malian traditions. Her parents were there, proud and emotional. Mia flew in and stood as her maid of honor, crying through the entire ceremony. Minjay's friends from Korea came. The wedding was small, intimate, and filled with love. Amina wore a stunning white dress with Malian fabric accents. Min-jae couldn't stop staring at her like she was a miracle. As they exchanged vows, tears rolled down both their faces. "I promise to protect you, honor you, and love you every single day," he said. "I promise to trust you, support you, and build a life with you," she replied. When they kissed, everyone cheered. The photos went viral. International media covered it. Kdrama fans around the world swooned. But not everyone was happy. Back in Seoul, Mrs. Kong sat alone in her penthouse apartment, staring at the wedding photos on her tablet. Her son, smiling wider than she'd ever seen, holding that African girl like she was the most precious thing in the world. Mrs. Kang's assistant entered quietly. "Madam, your son sent another message. He says if you want to be part of his life, you need to accept his wife." Mrs. Kong said nothing for a long time. Then, quietly, "Book me a flight to wherever they are." 1 month after the wedding, Amina was settling into married life, preparing to move to the United States for university with Minjay's full support, when there was a knock on the door of their temporary apartment in Mali. Minjay opened it and froze. His mother stood there, looking smaller somehow, older, uncertain. "Mom," he said, shocked. "Minjay," she said quietly. "I need to speak with your wife." Amina appeared behind him, and the two women stared at each other, a year of pain and anger between them. "I'll leave you two alone," Minjay said, though he looked worried. "It's okay," Amina said softly. They sat on the small couch, tension thick. Mrs. Kong spoke first. "I owe you an apology." Amina said nothing, just waited. "When I saw you that day in my son's apartment, I didn't see a person. I saw a threat. I've spent my entire life in a world where people use each other, where relationships are transactions, where love is a tool for manipulation. I thought you were using my son for his fame, for money, for a visa. I thought you were a gold digger who would break his heart and destroy everything he worked for." She paused, emotion cracking her composed exterior. "I was wrong. I see that now. I see how he looks at you. I see how empty he was without you. I see that you loved him when he had nothing to offer but himself. And I destroyed you for it." Tears ran down Mrs. Kang's face. "I am sorry. I was cruel. I was prejudiced. I let my fear and my pride hurt an innocent woman. I used my power to take away your dreams, and I will regret that for the rest of my life. I don't expect you to forgive me. I just needed you to know that I was wrong about you. You're not what I thought. You're strong and kind, and you've made my son happier than I've ever seen him. And if you'll allow it, I'd like to try to make amends." Amina sat in silence, processing. A year ago, this woman had destroyed her life, had called her filth, had slapped her, had taken everything. And now she sat here, apologizing. Why now? Amina finally asked. "Because I'm his mother," Mrs. Kong said. "And I've lost him. He won't speak to me, won't see me. I've realized too late that I was protecting him from the wrong thing. I should have been protecting him from loneliness, from emptiness, from becoming like me. You saved him from that. And I tried to destroy you for it." Amina took a deep breath. "You hurt me deeply. You cost me more than I can ever get back. But I'm learning that holding on to hate only hurts me. I forgive you. Not because you deserve it, but because I deserve peace." Mrs. Kong broke down completely, sobbing like Amina had never seen. "Thank you. Thank you. I don't deserve this." "No," Amina agreed. "You don't. But love isn't about deserving. It's about choosing grace." When Minjay returned, he found his mother and his wife sitting together, not as enemies, but as two women who'd both loved him in different ways. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't healed. But it was a start. 6 months later, Amina was thriving at a prestigious architecture program in New York City. Minjay split his time between Korea for work and New York to be with her. They no longer hid their love. He posted photos of them on social media, talked about her in interviews with pride, and smiled like he'd never smiled before. One evening, as snow fell gently outside their Manhattan apartment, Amina felt queasy. She'd been exhausted lately, emotional, her body feeling different.
She took a test.
2 lines. Positive. She stared at it, hands shaking, tears rolling down her cheeks. She was pregnant. When Minjay came home that night, she was sitting on the couch, the test in her hands. "What's wrong?" he asked immediately, dropping his bags. She looked up at him, tears in her eyes but a smile on her face. "We're having a baby." He froze, blinked, then broke into the biggest smile she'd ever seen. We're having a baby?" She nodded. He rushed to her, fell to his knees, wrapped his arms around her waist, and pressed his face to her still flat stomach. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you, thank you, thank you." They cried together, overwhelmed with joy and gratitude and the knowledge that their love, which had survived so much, was creating new life. 9 months later, they welcomed a baby girl. She had Amina's eyes and Minjay's smile. They named her Amma, meaning born on Saturday in a can, the day she entered the world. Mrs. Kong flew to New York to meet her granddaughter and cried when she held her. "She's perfect," she whispered, "just like her mother." Amina and Minjay stood together, watching 3 generations in one room, and knew they'd made it. Against all odds, against hate and distance and fear, love had won. Years later, when Amma was old enough to ask, "How did you and Daddy meet?" Amina would smile and say, "He walked into a place where I worked, and he kept coming back. Not for the books, but for me. And even when the world tried to tear us apart, we found our way back to each other." Because real love, Minjay would add, kissing his wife's forehead, survives everything. And it did. Real love survived. Real love returned. Real love won.
So, what did you think of this finale?
Rate it out of 10 in the comments and let me know where you're watching from. If this story touched your heart, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel for more emotional love stories. Share this with someone who believes in second chances and real love. Thank you for going on this journey with Amina and Minjay. Until the next story, remember, say no to racism and always show love to one another, regardless of the race or color. I'll see you in my next story.